Good evening and welcome to our nightly telecast of Just the News, where we give you all of the information that you need to know about what's happening in the country in just about 10 minutes. Well, before we begin, I have to tell you that some of the news is distressing, as it continues to be. So if you are experiencing anxiety or distress, it makes sense for you not to watch this video at all. To begin with, in Karnataka, 24 patients have died, including 23 COVID patients in Karnataka's Chamarajanagar district because of an alleged shortage of oxygen in the last 24 hours. Family members of the deceased also staged a protest at the hospital. Chamarajanagar district in charge, Minister S. Suresh Kumar, has said it's not appropriate to say that these deaths happened because of a shortage of oxygen. These deaths happened from Sunday morning to this morning, and the oxygen shortage happened in the wee hours of Monday. He also said the cylinders were supposed to come from Mysore, but there was some glitch. With Delhi reporting more than 20,000 cases every day, several hospitals over the weekend sent out repeated SOSs for a shortage of oxygen. Oxygen was not delivered from the vendors to the hospitals in Delhi this weekend. This includes the Sitaram Bhartiya Hospital, the Venkateshwara Hospital, the Maharaja Hospital, the Rainbow Hospital for Children, among many others. Delhi received, from what we understand, 454 MT of oxygen in the last 24 hours against its allocation of 590, so there's still a massive shortfall. Aam Aadmi Party MLA Raghav Chadha tweeted that this is criminal abdication on the part of those who were supposed to deliver the oxygen. I urge the central government to deliver the oxygen to us. We are also raising an SOS, end quote. The Supreme Court has given its order on the management of COVID in the country to the central and the state governments. The order came out very late on Sunday night. The Supreme Court issued directions, and these are all of the directions given by the court to the governments. The Supreme Court issued directions to the central and state governments and said that no patient should be denied hospitalization anywhere in the country or essential drugs anywhere in the country for lack of residential or identity proof. The bench also said the central government must formulate a national policy on admissions to hospitals within 2 weeks, and that should be followed by all state governments. It directed that the central government, in collaboration with the state government, create a buffer stock of oxygen to ensure supply lines continue to function even in unforeseen circumstances. It asked the central government to ensure that the deficit in the supply of oxygen in Delhi is rectified in 2 days, that is before midnight on the 3rd of May. The central government and state governments have been asked to notify the police that there will be no clampdown whatsoever on information on social media or harassment to individuals who are either asking for help or delivering help right now. And if they do so, they will face action from the court. It also urged the centre and state governments to consider imposing a ban on mass gatherings and super spreader events, and even consider a lockdown to curb the spread of the virus in the country. Now, the Election Commission, has approached the Supreme Court against a statement made by the Madras High Court. The Madras High Court had in fact said that the Election Commission should be booked for murder for allowing poll campaigns to continue during the outbreak of COVID in the country. The Supreme Court, in response, has said the media cannot be stopped from reporting in any court hearing and must fully report everything that happens in court. So the Election Commission had actually gone to Supreme Court and had said, please instruct the media not to report the observations made by a judge. So observations is when the judge is having a conversation with the lawyers or reacting to information placed before the bench, which is different from the actual order that comes out at the end of the hearing. But the Supreme Court has said that everything that is said in court should be reported by the media and it cannot be stopped. The bench said, and I quote, something is observed in the larger public interest. The Election Commission should treat it as a bitter pill in the right spirit. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia wrote to the Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and requested that as many oxygen tankers as possible be sent to the city of Delhi, as oxygen is in short supply. According to a report in NDTV, Manish Sisodia has been quoted saying that we sought the help of everyone, centre, private sector, social sector, and since we are facing a crisis, we've asked for army trucks to be made available to supply oxygen. The DRDO is already running a 500-bed centre. If they can set up more such centres, it will be helpful. The Delhi government has asked the army's help and has also requested the centre's help to make more oxygen available to its hospitals. The Delhi High Court, on the other hand, has asked the centre to provide details of oxygen concentrators that are currently lying with customs in Customs Department pending customs clearance. This comes after nearly 40 patients have died in Delhi due to the shortage of oxygen. Earlier this week, the High Court had ordered Delhi that Delhi must receive its full quota of medical oxygen by whatever means. It now turns out that a large amount of the oxygen concentrators that were sent from overseas are still with customs. Now, according to a report in the Financial Times, Serum Institute of India's CEO Adar Poonawalla has said that there will be a vaccine shortage in the country at least until July, because he said the production of vaccines are expected to increase from the 60-70 million doses to 100 million doses by then. Following this, the central government refuted that article and said that the claims that the central government had not placed adequate orders is completely false. The Ministry of Health has clarified that 100% advance of 1,732 crore rupees has been released to the Serum Institute of India on the 28th of April for 11 crore doses of Covishield, which will be delivered during May, June and July. And also on a date against the last order of 10 crore doses of Covishield vaccines, 8.7 crore doses have already been delivered. Hence, to say that fresh orders are not being placed by the Government of India is incorrect. Now, Adar Poonawalla has also issued a clarification on his Twitter handle. He said, "I would like to clarify, my comments have been misinterpreted. First of all, vaccine manufacturing is a specialized process. We cannot ramp up production overnight. We also need to understand the population of India is huge, and to produce enough doses for all of the adults is a massive task. Secondly, we are working closely with the government since April. We've got all kinds of support, be it scientific, regulatory and financial." He has clarified that as of today, 26 crore doses, of which they have supplied 15 crore. They've also got 100% advance, and he said another 11 crore doses will be supplied over the next few months. Now, the question really that everybody is asking is this. Now, we know that the 18 to 44 age group, which is the age group that has qualified to be vaccinated according to the Government of India, starting the 1st of May, is about 580 million people across the country. To give everybody 2 doses, you're talking about over 1 billion doses. So 1 billion doses vis-a-vis what we understand to be no more than 260 million doses that have been delivered so far. We don't really understand why the government hasn't placed larger orders in order to vaccinate the entire population, but we'll wait for more information from the government on that. More information coming in. Pfizer CEO has said that the company is in talks with the Indian government to expedite the approval pathway for its vaccine to be made available in India. He said, "Unfortunately, our vaccine is not registered in India, although our application was submitted months ago." He has also announced a donation of COVID medicines worth $70 million or 510 crore rupees for India. A couple of restrictions that have been announced across the country. Uttar Pradesh has called for a partial corona curfew, which has been extended till 7 a.m. on the 6th of May. Restrictions will continue as earlier. Markets, shopping malls, restaurants will be closed. Only essential services will be available. Uttar Pradesh reporting more than 30,000 cases every day. Haryana has announced a week-long lockdown from today for the whole state. Earlier, the lockdown was only for 9 districts. Haryana is reporting more than 13,000 cases every day. Punjab has announced lockdown-like restrictions in the state until the 15th of May as well. Andhra Pradesh has decided to impose a partial curfew of 14 days from Wednesday, the 5th of March. The National Commission for the Protection of Child's Rights has asked states and union territories to share information about children who've either been orphaned or abandoned because of COVID. There is a lot of stories, especially on social media, of children who've lost both their parents to COVID, or children who need caring for because one or both of their parents currently are in hospital with COVID, and so there's no one to care for the child. The NCRPC chairperson has said it may be noted that under the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015, it provides for a procedure to be followed for children who have lost family support and have become in need of care and protection. The procedure under the Act ensures children are provided with minimum standards of care and their rights are upheld and protected. They have urged that such children must be produced before child protection authorities of the district, and information must be shared with authorities. Also, very worryingly on social media, there have been forwards asking for someone to come forward and adopt children who have been abandoned. That's not how it works. There is a formal adoption system in our country that ideally should be followed. The National Eligibility cum Entrance Test, the NEET PG 2021, has been postponed by at least 4 months. Health Ministry has said it's taken this decision to postpone the exam for 4 months. Exam will not be held before the 31st of August. Let me give you an update on the election results as they took place, as counting took place yesterday. This is where we are right now. Let's take a look first at West Bengal. Counting of votes in 5 of West Bengal's 292 seats still continues as we speak. The Mamata Banerjee-led Trinamool Congress, though, has already declared and has won 213 seats. The BJP has won 17 seats. In a surprise turn, Mamata Banerjee lost to Suvendu Adhikari after the Election Commission retracted its earlier announcement of her win in Nandigram. Adhikari, formerly a TMC leader, has switched sides and joined the BJP. TMC leader Partha Chatterjee has said Mamata Banerjee will take oath on the 5th of May. Let's take a look at the state of Kerala. Out of 140 seats in Kerala, the LDF has won 97, the UDF has won 41, the BJP has failed to win any seat in Kerala. The current Chief Minister will continue in the next term. In Tamil Nadu, out of 234 seats, MK Stalin-led DMK has won 133 seats, followed by 66 for the AIADMK and 18 for the Congress respectively. The BJP, which is in alliance with the AIADMK, won 4 seats. The DMK has formed an alliance with the Congress and they will form the government. In Puducherry, out of 30 seats, the NDA, which is BJP and its allies, has set to form the government because they won 16 out of 30 seats. In Assam, out of 126 seats, BJP has won 60, followed by Congress and the AIUDF with 29 and 16 seats respectively. In other news, away from elections and COVID, Pakistan Rangers violated the ceasefire by opening fire again around the international border in Jammu and Kashmir's Samba district on Monday. PSF spokesperson has said this is the first ever ceasefire violation by Pakistan along the border after the two countries signed a fresh agreement to maintain peace along the border on the 25th of February. Pakistani Rangers resorted to unprovoked firing. There's been no casualty reported from the firing so far. A quick look at news coming in from the world of business. Indian-American billionaire Vinod Khosla has pledged $10 million or over 73 crore rupees in aid to supply medical oxygen to hospitals in India. He tweeted that he's giving this money to Give India. He said, for Give India, this isn't enough. They have received requests for 20,000 oxygen concentrators, 15,000 cylinders, 500 ICU beds, 100 ventilators, 10,000 beds in COVID centers, and requests are coming in from not-for-profits and hospitals across India every day. We need to do a lot more urgently, end quote. Capgemini, in a bid to help the central and state governments with this fight and the second wave of COVID, has committed 50 crore rupees for medical infrastructure. The fund will be used to build COVID care ICU facilities and oxygen generation plants. A look now at news coming in from across the world. Israel has banned its citizens from traveling to India and 6 other countries, including Ukraine, Brazil, Ethiopia, South Africa, Mexico, and Turkey. This regulation will come into force on the 3rd of May and will remain in place until the 16th of the month. Taiwan has banned the entry of people who have visited India in the last 14 days into its country starting Tuesday. Taiwanese citizens are exempted from the ban. They will have to spend 14 days in quarantine facilities. Several other countries, including UK, US, Germany, Australia, Switzerland, among others, have closed their borders to people traveling from India. Look at the news coming in from the world of sports right now. Following Kolkata Knight Riders Varun Chakravarti and Sandeep Warrior testing positive for COVID, the match against RCB in Ahmedabad has been postponed, not cancelled, as of today. Meanwhile, 5 Delhi District Cricket Association ground staff also tested positive for COVID. The DDCA Arun Jaitley Stadium is scheduled to host IPL matches until the 8th of May. In the meantime, the IPL continues. Australian pacer Pat Cummins has announced he will donate or allocate his $50,000 or 36 lakh rupees to UNICEF. Remember, earlier he had said he would give this money to the PM Cares Fund. Meanwhile, Cricket Australia has partnered with Australian Crickets Association and UNICEF Australia to help India with oxygen plants for critical cases, testing kits and other medical equipment. News from football. Manchester United's Premier League game against Liverpool was postponed on Sunday after supporters stormed into the stadium as thousands of fans gathered outside Old Trafford and demanded that the Glazer family ownership sell the club. The anti-Glazer movement has gained momentum in recent weeks following Manchester United's failed attempt to form a part of the breakaway European Super League last month. As always, we leave you with one piece of positive news before we wrap up. Now, with an aim to bridge the gap between oxygen production and transportation of oxygen, which is a massive problem, Mahindra Group's Anand Mahindra has made an announcement of a campaign called Oxygen on Wheels. Basically, Mahindra will use trucks to connect oxygen producers with hospitals and homes where oxygen is necessary in order to help reach more and more people with the oxygen and be able to save more and more lives. Well, we're going to leave you there, of course, with the news. Remember, we're here every evening. The source articles are in our YouTube page, which I do ask you to subscribe and like and share with people you feel will find this useful information. Thanks for watching. Good night.